Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Before I Go podcast. I have said it before, and I will say it again. You are truly never too old to learn a new lesson. It is never too late to change your mind. All my life, I have operated under the idea that it is best to just get over it and move on. Get over what, you ask? Anything, everything, just get over it. Stop living in the past and move on. Don't dwell on the negativity. Look at the positive. Move forward. Well, what if that is not the best advice to give someone? What if that is not the way to live a healthy life? On the surface, it sounds great, but if you really think about it, and I have been thinking about it, it's not healthy at all. Just get over it. Look, when you tell someone or yourself to just get over it, you are essentially negating their experiences and conveying the message that what happened to them, or more importantly, how they feel about what happened to them, is not valid. When my first marriage ended, I forced myself to get over it. I pretended like it didn't happen, and I'm here to tell you that shit happened. And if I had dealt with it 31 years ago instead of pretending to get over it, I would not be bringing it up today. I acted like I was over it, but clearly I wasn't. Do me a favor and picture yourself standing in front of a wall. The wall's about 10 feet high and maybe 2 feet thick, and you need to get to the other side. The easy way would probably be to climb over it. Maybe not easy, but easier than, say, pushing your way through it. It's the same thing with our problems, our traumatic experiences. Just getting over something is easier in the short term than figuring out how to move through something. Moving through something requires effort. It requires thought. It requires vulnerability. Moving through is painful, whereas getting over it is much less painful. Moving through is painful now. Getting over it is painful later. You just have to pick your pain. The problem is, when you decided to just get over it, you haven't really dealt with the root cause of the issue. And I promise you, if you do not take the time to deal with the root cause, then the problem will continue to resurface. Getting over it is a temporary solution to problems and ultimately not a solution at all. How many times have I said to myself, just get over it already? I assure you, it has been countless numbers of times because I've done it my whole life. I'm thinking about this now because on July 10th, 2021, I took my last drink of alcohol. And in the days that followed, I was asking myself, okay, what's next? I wasn't going to take the time to sit with myself and really examine what being sober meant to me. I was going to just get over it and move on. Then I had to stop myself and do some reflecting. Why? Because just getting over it does not work for me. After 10 days of not drinking, I felt like I needed to stop and take a breath to really examine why I decided to stop drinking. Otherwise, I would go back to drinking. Does that make sense? Here's the thing. I've been drinking alcohol for more than 40 years. 40 years. Not consistently, and mostly just in social situations. However, in the last 5 years or so, the amount that I drink has increased substantially. And I generally drink alone. It doesn't really affect how I live my life, and I'm functioning, which makes it easier to excuse. But since the pandemic, I have been asking myself, are you drinking too much? Do you have a problem? And I am a person who has learned to trust her gut. And if my gut is telling me that I'm drinking too much, then I probably am. So why not just cut back? Well, I tried that. I told myself that I would only drink on the weekends. Well, for most people, the weekend is 2 days. For me, the weekend would start on Thursday night. And if I still had an open bottle of wine on Sunday, then the weekend wouldn't end until Monday night. That's a 5-day weekend. That's a problem. Not to mention that on Saturday and Sunday, the drinking would start around noonish. Back to getting over it. Giving up the alcohol was just the beginning. I need to take some time to examine why and what I'm feeling so I can stand firm in my decision and not go back to it. Period. I regret every single time I judged someone for not getting over it. I regret every single time I judged myself too harshly for not getting over it. Getting over it does not work if you care about your mental health and peace of mind. Please, please, please do not be confused. I'm not suggesting that you sit and wallow in your problems. I'm suggesting that it may be beneficial for you to not sweep your problems under the rug, but instead to examine them more fully and work through them until you find real peace. Maybe you can do it on your own. Maybe you'll need the assistance of a professional. Either way, my advice to you is instead of getting over it, move through it. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you again so much for listening. But before I go, let me share this with you from Jay Marshall. It has been said that time heals all wounds. The truth is that time does not heal anything. It merely passes. It is what we do during the passing of time that helps or hinders the healing process. I'll see you next time.